basically what Carolina opened up. So I was quite happy to have her here to also give a second view and opinion. And what I will tell you about now, basically, it's the story of my last 3 years working with Xing as an external contractor and one of the teams, and how we basically grew from a state what Pedro mentioned, like a small kind of startup, even embedded in this big stock traded company, but in this agile startup spirit, and what our growth and success story was, but also the struggles we had and how we tackled them, and yeah, maybe give you some tips and tricks on the way. So, catchy title, how Xing created successful news platform. So basically, that's me. So I'm a tester since, I don't know, 2000 at least. Even then I was just doing it as a side job, so I was just doing it with my gut feeling, and only like 10 years later I really get into studying and reading and filling my practical doing with some theoretical knowledge. That's also when I joined with a German company who does consulting services and testing, plus also organizing the Agile Testing Conference in Germany, in Potsdam. Yes, and my passion is to bring people together, to help us as a profession, as testing people, as QAs, and connect them. So I'm running also, like Nuno and his colleagues here, local Hamburg-based community setups, English-speaking and German-speaking. So, and also in Xing, as mentioned, it's a big company, 600 people. So we have like at least 40 dedicated single teams. So we have obviously kind of a community of practice, tribe, whatever you might call it. So we also exchange, because it's so many people that sometimes I meet colleagues like Nuno. So I probably know him online since 1 or 2 years, but that's the first time I actually met him in person, and that even happens in Hamburg, because we have several buildings with people of us. One of the things I like to do is have some great ideas and find people who make it happen. So we did the Software Testing World Cup, because I was always thinking like, man, why do testers or why do developers have hackathons? Why do have designers have some kind of bar camps, but we testers have nothing? And then around 2014, there was the Olympics in London. So I said like, cool, we need something like that. So we created it, and yeah, we ran it. So globally online, and people can just test basically. So it's like watching a chess game. So it's not very nice, but if you're a tester and you know what they are doing, and so it's really interesting. Plus we made it a little bit more visible. So that's something we do. And now we come to the last 3 and a bit years. So I was hired as a tester for one of the teams. So Xing, as a company, every year they take some money and come up with some ideas and say, we think IoT, that will be the next big thing. You have some money, do something, let's see if it works. You have 6 months. And if it works out, they put more money, they make a proper team and make it really as a product. So that's how we, as a news team, started. Small, typical team size, 7, 8 people, and how we grew. Carolina and Nuno, they mentioned it already, that was from 2016, so quite a lot of people. Grown more, of course, also with the Porto offices here in Barcelona and Austria, so it's really reaching out. That's also why our company culture is more or less English. So it doesn't matter. So I have an Argentinian Scrum Master, and I have a Brazilian iOS developer, and some Ukrainian data analyst. So English is the way for us to go, and it's really a normal fit to see all this company, all these cultures also work together. So this is roughly, because we only have like 20 minutes for that, how I visualize it. So basically we have a lot of separate teams, like Carolina, for example. She is in what we call the start page. Like if you log in, that's where you enter. So you have a big stream of all the news showing up, birthdays of your visitors, etc. Then we have email teams, contact messages, and these are like the feature teams. So the teams are typically really full stack, full feature teams. So we have iOS developer, Android, backends, data analyst, depends all in one team. So that means we support and we develop on all platforms, we test all platforms, and normally we also deploy all platforms as far as we could. And then we have also like of course the infrastructure, the supporting, the enabling teams, the operations guys, production guys, backend and stuff like that, and also like dedicated client teams. Like we have a mobile infrastructure for all the push notification we are using for the central coordination to submit to Apple Store and Google Play Store. So these are the teams who are enabling other teams who really do the features and the business value basically. So yeah, if you would log in, so that would be a typical profile page, and every single colored button would probably be one team. So this is, I don't know, Nuno, are you already on this? Might be an older screenshot. Not yet.
We exist, we are the black.
Yes, that's part of this.
Black,
So that's like another blank. Yeah.
It's the black dot.
Yeah, but you can see, so for the user, of course, it looks like one thing. So maybe behind the scenes, you have all the different teams. And as I already mentioned, so normally we have the team really stacked with everything what we need. Designers, UX, mobile developers, etc. So we can, you get the slides later as well, so I will go over that. And that is basically what we did, my team, 6 products, 3 years, 1 team. We started as an experiment with a kind of like email newsletter. So the idea was news. That could be something which also business people, because Xing is a business platform, could interest. They don't want to read like 20 newspapers, find out what's happening in my industry. If I'm working in banking or chemistry or construction, I would like to have like one point, one email, one something I can read, so I'm informed about what's happened. So I don't need to do this. That was the idea. So we sent it out. It's still one of the good running cash cows. So I think every morning 5 million emails, people read it, interact a lot. So we have a lot of data analytics on that. So we always can find out what it is. So and then we said, okay, what else? Maybe a debate format to different topics. Politics, pension with 70. Now should old people, meaning 50 plus, still be employed? How is paternity leave? So you always have topics in the business life. So, and we wanted to give place to different views on the same topic, so that people can compare and say, yeah, he has a point, she has a point. So and so our product portfolio grew. That also means our problem grew as well. So this is roughly how it was in 2014 when I came on board. Funny enough, the team itself was running for like 6 months without QA, and then they, the team, said like, product guys, business guys, we need some QA person on board. We don't want to do it ourselves. We know it has drawbacks. Let's get some expert on board like this. We did it the good old-fashioned way. Physical boards. We only gave it up, I think, beginning of this year. We still really liked it. But as you can see, we also find loopholes. So if we didn't have enough space, we started putting ear cards and stuff. So now we are to Jira. So, but that's how it was. So small team, me as a black computer dude, testing the product, and typical tasks were like, okay, get your code, set up the test environment, find your test data, do the testing, because I was new to the team, but of course the team was still producing, so I needed to get up on speed. And I was what I said, like operational testing, like really sitting and testing, mostly on functional level at that point, and looking at different browsers and checking email clients, and yeah, looks good. Quite simple or typical setup maybe. We were primary web, so with iOS as the first mobile platform to try it out. So, but we were successful. So we got more duties, like, oh, cool. So now we do the debate on top, and we want more platforms because Android. So, and we actually have a Windows team, but we don't talk about that. Android on iOS. So we staffed our team even more. And even now, like 3.5 years later, our ratio of like freelance contractor to full-time employees is still higher than for typical teams. But seriously, all our even freelance people had the responsibility and the ownership like every normal full employed person. So they were always like, our unit tests are running too slow. 5 minutes, that's not okay. I will refactor them myself. So now they run for 3 minutes. Yes, that's how it should be. So they really felt and took the ownership. So everybody was really engaged with the product and also asked questions like, hey, product owner, why do we do it like this? Hey, designer, is that a good pattern? So everybody was really the team. Everybody had specializations, like testing or developing, but everybody had the right and the ownership of it. So, but we grew. We got some more also testing colleagues on board, like Dirk and another colleague. So we also needed a little bit to coordinate, like, oh, who's doing the Android release train this week? You, okay, cool. I will focus on some other tickets. So the operational work level got a little bit down because you needed to coordinate with other teams, and now was Android platform, and on the mobile setup, we were not so flexible as in web. In web, we would just deploy. We had very good monitoring, still have, so we see everything's cool, good. But on mobile platforms, because we use the official stores, Google Play Store and Apple Store, we needed to streamline it with all the other teams contributing mobile code. So that made it a little bit slower for us in that sense, and it needed a little bit more coordination. But it was still handleable. 2016, enter Porto. So we got our remote office colleagues and the new technology, video, which was brand new to the platform, to Xing as such. And so it started to grow. We also got more products on it, and the task also now needed to be more, especially in the mobile and video environment, as you might see later. Something also like performance, bandwidth, stuff like that, coming with a new technology, very interesting to check. Plus, in general, more security things you have to talk about. So all the tasks were growing. So and it was always not so easy to keep an overview. Like, where are we standing now? Is this feature good enough tested to ship it? And also because we have so many products, like, okay, is this feature already released on iOS, or was it only on Android? Like, coordination and getting in the big picture and still being in the know got more complicated. So, and now, 2017, as you see, we kind of got even more remote colleagues. So, because we said, okay, we need more, and we were one of the first teams where remote working was basically introduced because we had the need. We wanted to find good people, but it was hard enough anyway. And then we tell them, no, but you need to be in Hamburg 5 days a week. Then some people would say, hey, come on, that's not possible. I live in Poland or whatever. So, so we opened up. We improved our infrastructure for that. For now, it's normal for us, which also, when finding candidates, makes it easier. Like recently, we had a freelance contractor, and we had 2 candidates, like one from Hamburg, 5 days a week, and the other one from Berlin, so like 3 days a week. And we choose the Berlin one because for us, for all our hiring processes, basically the team fit is higher than the technical skill set or availability. So we always put them as a last step in the hiring process with team lunch or whatever. So and if the team says like, I don't know, he's very quiet or too loud, then we say, okay, we go with the team's opinion or gut feeling, and we rather take another candidate which fits better. Because all the technical stuff, expertise, Java, Ruby, whatever, that can be trained, but the mindset and the feel in the team, that's mostly the deal breaker. Nevertheless, that's where we stand. So also big data coming in the picture. So we started to get more and more in A/B testing. So because yeah, the results are really wow, what you can do with it if you have the data pool to do it. But it also means more coordination with other teams. So it was really getting down on the quality level, also on the devs, which we could test all the stuff which we are producing. I mean, we are talking like at least 2.5 teams, so it means like at least a dozen developer of all colors, backend, front-end, etc. So it was getting more and more. So we always try to tackle these, also like where we changed our standard procedure, like we did the classical before, like that's what I did yesterday, that's what I do today, etc. So, but that was not handled if you have like 20 people standing in standard. So it was like, come on, Feierabend, so let's go home. And so we switched and tried around, say, okay, let's just talk about the tickets we have in the to-do columns. That worked for a while, but then you lose other stuff. So, but we always worked around and tried to find and solve our pain points by changing stuff and adjust it. Even like what we see now, kind of splitting the teams up internally. So, and giving like one epic to one team. So, and then the other team would do another epic. So we are still one team and we try to go cross-functional, but that was another way. So, and what we also started to introduce from summer around was getting the team involved. Because even now with all the stuff and the amount of testing people, and there was still more the guys could produce and we could really test it up properly. So it was like, okay, what do we do? Do we really let the tickets and the code wait till some QA person is ready? One option. Do we ship it without testing? Second option. No? Or do we find a balance and say together in the standard or something like, okay, this looks like a front-end ticket, some visual changes, maybe the designer could do it. No, because at least from my perspective, my eyes are bad enough. For me, it's red and green, period. I don't do aubergine or mauve or whatever. It's simple primary colors. That's what I can do without any tools. But designers, they would see it, so why not give it to them? Yeah, so the team as such, also POs, and even Petro mentioned it, even iOS developer would test Android and vice versa. So it works. Get them on board, so they were willing and also willing to do it, but of course lacking on the testing knowledge. So now our role has become more helping and supporting them and say, okay, this is a front-end ticket, you know what to do for your colors, think about the supported browsers we do, maybe do responsive and something like that, and then from the risk evaluation, it's good enough to ship it. And from the whatever backend stuff, we would also do similar like this. And then where there's still enough ticket, where even the other teams or the other team members would say, we had it sometimes like the PO would come and say, okay, I can do this ticket, I have time. And the developers would say, no, please let that do a real testing person, because they know it's more complex or conditions and stuff like that. So even there, the team is really working and not just takes it easy way, yeah, let's ship it, let him do it, but saying, no, this we can rather wait and let a real QA guy do it, but then we are sure it's good enough quality. So, basically, changes which help in our context, in our industry, in our team composition. Now, even me, personally, I'm the one I would like to still know everything. So I know, that's how I am. So I always want to know everything. But it's not possible. Because you really drain yourself, plus it's not practical. So we started to split up and say, okay, you do this kind of feature we are doing, I take the other feature, we exchange loosely or something, but the real expert in that topic or domain is that person or that person. That helped us. Involves the team in the end, because most often, as Petro said, if you talk and communicate with them and say, hey man, it would cost me 4 hours, but maybe if we do it together, even pairing, it would be faster, or we can find an automation way to do it. So involve them most often, if you really talk with them and make it plausible, why you want him now in it, there are surprising results, and they are mostly winning. And also what I learned myself, be pragmatic. So it's really, whatever, it's a typo or something is really not properly working. But come on, is it our KPI? Do we make money with it or not? Or is it just a whatever helping feature, a secondary feature? Ship it. If it's important, we do it maybe next sprint. No, but if for our team consent, so we would always do it at least 2-3 people. There's a designer, maybe the PO and the QA, and would debate it and say, yeah, come on, out. So because having the feature live and getting users to the platform or whatever is way more worse than the few people who might see the bug or the typo. And if it's important, we fix it next week, but let's get it out. So that was, at least for me also, where I learned when I was kind of younger or more junior in testing. It felt like, no, but it's a bug, how can we do it? It's not possible. So where I needed to learn for myself, like, yeah, come on. So it's really not good enough. And you might debate it, but in the end you're in a team, and the majority hopefully has a sense and has a good opinion. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, kind of. But normally, if it's not, and that's what I always would get rid of, it's like the QA is the decider. I don't know. I don't have all the information. I don't have business information or something. Why should I take the decision? They put it in the team, and if the majority says, oh no, we need to release or not release, that's good enough. Yeah. And then how to coach, be a test coach, how to help the team. There can be simple to-do list, checklist, so where others can at least have some kind of guidelines, or of course pairing. So Carolina mentioned Lalit in his teams in the blue unit, they're really picking one ticket per sprint, and with a like round robin random principle, sitting together in a pairing exercise, developer and tester or designer and tester, to also transfer the testing knowledge even more. So that's part of their team rules, how the team wants to work as such, and that is also a nice way to bring it forward. So, and this is where basically, because sometimes you hear the talks about T-shaped testers or cone-shaped, where if you really grow in your field, in your profession, you need to be more. I mean, more probably than the 8 arm, because you need to be able to talk with designers and also say their kind of improve quality, improve patterns. You need to talk with developers about testability or other things. With a product, to talk their language and say, yeah, come on, but that will impact 20% of our user base, because you are able to extract the data from your analytics dashboard yourself. So also get more technical where it makes sense, to be able to support the quality approach we all have and want to have for our products. So, yes, and because I couldn't find any good, at least friendly looking Kraken, I bribed my designer and she made it for me.